What's up, YouTube? Brian Van Dyne here, owner-operator of VANDUYN Dump Trucking. Before I get into all the details and everything, I just wanted to say the Super Chat's enabled. And for everyone that gives a $5 Super Chat, I got some stickers to send out. So there's one. There's another one. And there's another one. So if you send out a $5 Super Chat with your address, I'll send you a sticker. It's got to be $5 though. Anyways, gonna get into kind of the nitty-gritty of owning and operating a dump truck business. What's up, Urban Cowboy? All you gotta do is do a $5 Super Chat with your address, and I'll send you one out. So basically, I wanted to do an update video on how much owner-operator dump truckers make. I did a video a long time ago. When I was 6 months in, I did a video how much I had made my first 6 months of business. Now, I was gonna do just a normal video of the of this, but it's just too time consuming, and the camera quality, it's just so hard to do an up close video with the GoPro. It's just a pain. So I'm just gonna do a live chat, and then you can ask me exactly what you want to know. Obviously there's going to be a few restrictions. I'm not going to show you my customers. I'm not going to show you, how much they pay me directly, but I'll show you, income and expense trends, expense breakdown, income breakdown, that type of stuff, basically. So, if you want a sticker, $5 Super Chat with your address in it, and I'll be able to look those back up and send those out. So, without further ado, let me bring this laptop a little bit closer. For those of you that are just now joining, $5 Super Chat gets you a sticker. Okay. So, we got income and expense trend. This is the first one we're going to cover. So this one is for this year alone, right? So you can see the income is green, the expense is blue. Basically, what we got here, January, very slow. February, very slow. March, very slow. April, very slow. May, it started to pick back up. June, July, we killed it. August is going meh. So this is where we're at for income and expense trends this year. Okay, so let me change this to last year. Give me a second. Last year. So this is the last year. Income and expense trends. So last May, this is how much we made. Here, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see the graph over here. We got 4,800, 9,600, 1,440, 1,920, and 24,000 up at the top, right? So May and June, we did about $15,000. We spent a lot in June and in May. A lot of this that we spent in May was previous stuff that we lumped into there from starting up the business. July, we killed it. August, September. So when you go to start a dump truck business, you can, look at this. Obviously, every area is different, right? So July, August, September were our biggest months, you know. And I started out in May not knowing anything, not knowing anybody. So this is last year, Blake. This is numbers from last year. So you can see how basically October, November, December, the work just dropped completely off. And this was my first year. Okay, so let's go back to this year. So as you can see, this year there's a lot less expense. Lot less expense. You know, I just started spending way less money, you know, just trying to keep things, you know, pretty good. You know, so then work started picking back up. We made more money this year in May than last year. We made more money in June than last year. And we also made more money in July than last year. Okay, so now let's look at this. So this is going to be kind of tricky. So right here's the income breakdown. So right here we have dump trucking, gross trucking income, 66% of our income. Sorry about that. Lost connection. Let me flip this around. So 66% of our income from trucking. We got 21% from the excavator. And then this is other. This is the dozer, basically 10%. If it was more, then it would say gross dozing income, but you know, that's basically what it is. So that's this year so far. Let's do let's go to last year. So last year was from May to January. This was last year, right? Gross trucking income, obviously, that's all we had was a dump truck. So that's pretty much the income breakdown. Okay, now let's look at the expense breakdown for this year. So our biggest expense right here, repairs and maintenance, 27%. Basically. So you can figure when you run a dump truck business, you know, if you run it the way I do, you're going to spend 27% of your income on repairs and maintenance. Basically. Then we got over here, this is fuel. Oh, wait, no, this is other. That's just miscellaneous stuff. This one's the fuel. Fuel for jobs, 25% of your expenses will be fuel. And then we got small tools and equipment, operational expenses. Yeah, fuel is very massive. Okay, so that's this year so far, $27,000. Yes, Blake, I feel the same way, dude. I feel the same way. So let's look at last year. So, expense breakdown for last year. We got repairs and maintenance. 40% of our expense breakdown was repairs and maintenance. Then we got fuel. $13,700 for fuel. And then we got small tools and equipment, and then other. All right. Let me scroll down here real quick. And then we're going to look at year-over-year income really quick here. So here's year-over-year income. This only shows for gross trucking income. So I have done less in trucking this year than last year, but overall my gross income was higher because I had the excavators, right? So if I switch this, gross trucking income, I can switch it to excavator income. Boom. Shows me how much the excavator's made. Boom. Shows me how much the backhoe's made, which I sold it that month. Here's the dozer, right? So that's pretty much year-over-year income. You can see we're halfway through, we're partially, what day are we? We're almost halfway through August. So probably 15,000 is probably what I'll end up making, close to there. Maybe a little bit more, just depends on how things go. Okay. Yeah, basically I am doing better this year than I was last year. This is only showing gross trucking income. So it shows lower, but I haven't talked to Puget Sound for any truck rental yet. So here's the expense year over year. Okay, so current is the light blue, prior is the dark blue. So this is repairs and maintenance category. So this is, you can see really good here, like how we've kept expenses down this year. I mean, expenses were really high last year, from starting out of business. So they went down significantly this year. So that's repairs and maintenance. With QuickBooks, I'm allowed to look at any other thing, I can look at whichever thing I want. I can look at small tools and equipment. Hey, sweetie. So I can look at any of these categories if I wanted to. Insurance expense. You can see all of these. Fuel expense. So fuel expense is actually a category for my cars. Let's see, fuel for jobs is what I'm looking for. Give me a second here. I guess I don't have that category. There should be one here. Fuel expense, fuel off-road. It's not on here. I don't know why it's not on here. Anyways, let's go back to repairs and maintenance, because I want to talk a little bit about that. It is very crucial, guys. When you first start your business up, you can tell you're going to spend a lot more in maintenance because you're buying somebody else's problem. Guaranteed, you're going to buy somebody else's problem when you buy a used dump truck. Unless you buy a brand new dump truck, and then you're still buying a problem because it's going to have issues. It's going to have, break-in costs, basically. Now, for all the users that are just joining, I just wanted to put this out there. We got some new stickers. $5 super chat with your address, and you get a sticker. So we got some pretty cool stickers here to pass out, send out. My wife and I's 7-year anniversary. We're doing pretty good. So kids. So now I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to put down in the comment section, what do you want to know? Like, what do you want to ask me? While I got this open, shoot away, ask me whatever you want to ask. Right now, in open invoices, I have 20,000 in unpaid invoices. 6,600 is overdue. Paid in the last 30 days is 18,000. Yeah, exactly, Blake. When somebody's selling a dump truck, don't let them fool you. Even if they say they're retiring or something like that, they ain't retiring and they're getting rid of their problem. That's what it is, If anybody's selling anything, it's always a problem. That's why they're selling it. If it wasn't a problem, then they wouldn't be selling it. Like, if you went up to somebody and they weren't selling it and then you bought it, you're less likely to get problems, you know, than if they're already listing it. You know, it's because it's already a headache for them. How much for excavator license? Is that what that is? You don't have to have a license to operate an excavator. Not in Washington. I don't know about any of the other states. Now, obviously, guys, you have to take this with a grain of salt, obviously, because over here in dump trucking, I'm charging anywhere from $115 an hour to $150 an hour, you know, if it's a prevailing job. You know, I've charged the highest I've ever charged somebody was $160 an hour, I think. And that was, you know, he told me to charge him that because he said, this customer, you know, they're doing a whole bunch of change orders. Just make your money, dude. He said, you know, and I've, you know, been there for him, you know, several times. So basically that's how that worked. But typically 115, 120, 125, and 130 for asphalt. That's typically what I charge. And, you know, all of my business associates, that's pretty much what we charge in the Seattle metro area. You're right, Justin. And, you know, I take the time to go the extra mile in this because nobody was willing to show me this. So I learned it all firsthand, you know. And I'm not really worried about showing anybody this stuff because realistically, if you want to, you know, start a business, you kind of need to know how it's going to work, you know. And you can't just expect to make, you know, $150,000 and it's all take home. That's not realistic, you know. What's that, Doc? Yes, yes. That's what all my work is hourly. I've never done tonnage and I've never done by the load because it never works out in Washington. They're trying to rip you off if they're charging that. They're getting that one over on you if they're charging you that, basically, you know, because everybody knows how crappy traffic is in Washington. I mean, so I'm going to get into that, Doc, in another video. But I will briefly touch that while I'm here. You can set your own rate. Like a lot of people say you can't set your own rate in trucking. You can set your own rate. It's your business. Do whatever the hell you want. You know, you really can. You know, and, you know, you can charge people whatever you want. If they're willing to pay it, they're willing to pay it. If they're not, they're not. You know, you won't work. But I would say 70% of my customers, the rate has already been set by somebody who is giving me the work, and that's what they charge. So if they give me work, then I charge the same as them, you know, and I kind of agree to that when I take on their work, you know, because they're not my customer. But if a person comes to me and they ask me what my personal rate is, I say, well, I charge $120 an hour. That's what I charge. That's what my website says. You know, and anybody who wants to look it up, they can look it up. They can try to undercut me all they want, but good luck, you know. If you want to undercut somebody, you're going to undercut somebody. People are going to see that, and then they're not going to give you any work, you know. Mark said, how many hours a week do I work? Mark, I work 24/7, 6 hours a week, or 6 days a week. I mean, I work literally nonstop. If there's work, I'm doing it. You know, that's just who I am. That's how I've always ran my business. I always work if there's work. Because, as you've seen in the graphs, wintertime, you do nothing. And that's why I bought the excavators and the dozer. Because those, believe it or not, that dozer, you know, I made a few $1,000 last winter because of that. You know, same with the excavators, you know. Yeah, and that's the way it is in a lot of places, Mark. You know, more axles, more weight. I mean, you can charge more. And that's the same here in Washington, too. I mean, you know, like if you buy a Super Solo, you can haul 24 tons. You can charge $150 an hour average. You know, if you got, you know, 2 drop axles, you can charge 125, 130 on average. You know, I've only got a tandem, so I'm stuck at 115, 120 an hour basically. Unless it's, you know, asphalt, I charge more for asphalt. You know, everybody does, because there's no work during the winter. In dirt, you know, sometimes there's work, sometimes there ain't. But, you know, you can kind of stay busy in the dirt work, you know. But in asphalt, in the winter here, you ain't paving. There's just, you ain't doing it. It rains too much. Nobody paves in the winter here. In my future, am I going to purchase a Super Solo? Man, if I had the money, I would buy one. Because those things, they stay busy year-round. I mean, they really do. And the big companies want them. They want to rent them, and they'll pay $150 an hour, and they pay quick. You know, the big companies, they don't want to rent my tandem or my you know, my dump truck, because it only has 1 drop axle. You know, I only haul 15 tons. But those Supers, man, they haul, it's basically a truck, Doc, with 3 drop axles, and it's called a strong arm, and it's another drop axle that drops down in the back, right? It's a hydraulic drop axle that drops down in the back of the dump truck. And so with the bridge laws here in Washington, they're allowed to haul 24, 25 tons, basically, in 1 truck without a trailer, which is a lot of weight, you know. And the asphalt companies, man, they will pay, they want them. Damn, Blake! Damn! I'm going to have to send you some stickers now, too. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Me and the wife, for our anniversary, we went out to the drag strip. We had some free tickets, so we went out to the drag strip. I did a few small videos. That was pretty cool. We also went to a car show. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Blake, dude, you're the man, Blake. I'm going to have to send you some stickers. I wish I would have known you were going to send me a super chat like that. $5 gets you a sticker if you have your address. Put it, you know, or PM me or something, you know. Just do a super chat for $5. You get a sticker. My buddy made these up. So we got the excavator. Sorry, they're backwards. We got the dump truck and we got the dozer. So that's pretty sweet. So if you like a certain particular type of video, you can get, you know, a bumper sticker. Any questions while I got my laptop up about, you know, anything? Typically, we charge net 30 is what we do, which means as soon as I send the invoice out, 30 days later, they're supposed to pay me. Now, a lot of people are slow, very slow. Some people are ridiculously slow, and I don't work for slow payers. If I notice that somebody's taking upwards of 45 days to pay, I will stop working for them, because I'm not a bank. I mean, and every time you work for somebody, you're loaning them your money in fuel, basically, and time, you know. And so 45 days is roughly the average. I mean, they're supposed to pay you in 30, but it drags out to 40, 45, you know, because they're slow and, you know, they mail stuff and this and that. Yeah, you got a lot of money, huh? Mr. Know-It-All. Well, see, Mr. Know-It-All, that post that I did on Facebook, we did find a driver. It wasn't really for me. I was searching for one of my customers that I'm constantly dispatching his truck, and he also hires me. So I was looking for a driver for him. I was screening them basically because they will have to be working with me, because when he doesn't have work, I send that truck out to work. And I did a rant video a few months ago about I was basically saying, here's some advice, basically. I think that was the title, advice or something like that. And it's, you know, if there's work in the dump truck world, you need to do the work. I mean, you can't slack off in the summertime because wintertime, there's nothing, you know. So, his last driver was the laziest guy I have ever met in my life. You know, he just never wanted to work. And, you know, Josh, my buddy, would have him work. And then I would, you know, he wouldn't have any work for a few days and I would have something. And the dude wouldn't want to work. It's like he was always on vacation or something, you know, so. Yeah, Blake. Good karma, dude. That is a good point. That is a good point. If I ever come to Ohio, dude, I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna shake your hand because you're a cool guy, you know. So, and let me know if you get those shirts. And when you get the shirts, take a picture of you and your it's your girlfriend, right? I think it's your girlfriend. Take a picture and send it to me so I can put it on my Facebook page because that's cool. Let's see, I'm looking at the comments here. Mark Mayers, dang, these dudes I'm hooked up with will pay me within a week, but have certainly had invoices weeks out before getting paid. Yeah, well, there are companies in Washington that won't pay you for 90 days. I mean, like, how can anybody stay in business if their money's, you know, they work one day and then 90 days later they're finally getting paid for it? I mean, I would never sign up for that unless I knew I was getting, you know, $200 or $300 an hour, you know, and it was like a sure thing, like a state job or something, you know, like the state saying, oh, okay, here you get $250 an hour, but the downside is you don't get paid for 90 days. I say, sign me up, you know, because I'm getting paid extra for having to wait. So I would do that. But if it's just a normal paying job, no way, Jose. I mean, there's so much work around here that I'm not going to wait for 60 days to get paid when I can wait for 30 and get paid the same amount, you know. So I don't do that. I do not do that. So, I mean, this year we're doing really well. We're doing better this year than we were last year so far. We've made money. We've made more money this May, June, and July than we made last year. Plow with my dump truck. I don't have a plow set up, and it doesn't really snow enough on in Western Washington as much as it does on Eastern Washington. If I lived in Eastern Washington, I would probably invest in a plow setup for the winter time. Yeah, dude, to get paid, it's the weight game. I mean, it's ridiculous. Kids are taking a bath and crying right now. But, oh, so one cool thing, my wife bought me this for our anniversary. It's just a Milwaukee razor knife. Sweet. I love this thing. Has this locking mechanism right here. I will say this is my favorite type of razor knife, and I requested her to buy this exact brand, Milwaukee, because I've had the other razor knives and they're junk. I love the Milwaukee one. It's just, you know, flips out easy and it's very ergonomic, very comfortable, you know. This one's the small one, the fast back, and she bought me a 2-pack. There's this smaller one and then there's one that's slightly larger. Love them. Love them both. But what do you guys think of these new stickers, though? Here, let me turn this around. That way you guys can see them without them being backwards. Give me a second here. What do you guys think of those? They have a white background, so they go good against anything that you stick them to. Right? VANDUYN dump trucking. A lot of detail went into making those logos. Like if you look closely on the dump truck in the grill, it says BV for Brian Van Dyne, which is pretty cool. My buddy did that, you know, and he spent a lot of time on that. Yeah, he did a good job. I mean, it's pretty sweet. It reaches out of the circle, which is really cool. I like that about that. It's kind of like, rah, coming to get you, you know. One other thing that I'd like to show you guys, it's kind of cool, you know, for, you know, new guys that are doing dump trucks and stuff like that. So this right here is what I call a truck ticket book, right? When you want to start a business, you want to get yourself some of these. Mine have 3 copies, white, yellow, and pink, basically. The pink copy goes to the customer. The white and the yellow one stick with me. If they ask for a copy, then I send them the yellow one. If they don't, then I keep the white and the yellow one. So on my specific truck books, I got the company name and address. They screwed up on it, you know, which happens. I got the date, the rate, you know, the type, solo truck, you know, I got all this other stuff. And then material, to, from, loads, hours, you know, signature, my signature. And also at the bottom, it's a legal document. It says, signature of this truck invoice will be considered your notice of intent to lien this project, if necessary. Interest at 1% per month will be charged on all past due accounts. You know, copy of invoice to be emailed. So, that's pretty much, and I got written on my tickets net 15, right? Because that way, you know, if they're not paying directly after 30, if I wanted to, I could immediately lien them, because I have them sign it, and it's net 15, so they should be paying me net 15, but hardly anybody ever does, you know. But there are a few people out there that pay really quick, and those are the people that I love doing work for, and I will break my back to work for them, you know, because they pay fast. So, anyways, guys, any questions real quick? I want to get back to my honeymoon, or my anniversary thing. I just figured, like, since I had these new stickers, I got them, I figured I would give you guys a chance to get some, you know, with the super chat. Yeah, I pretty much showed you guys everything on the QuickBooks that I can show you, except for, you know, aside from my, you know, customer list and everything. Well, without further ado, please pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, comment, share this on your social media site of preference. Later, Mark, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. And Blake, you're the man. Hope you enjoy the shirts. Like I said, send me a picture so I can post it on my Instagram or Facebook or something like that, because you guys are big supporters, and I appreciate that. And, you know, it goes a long way, you know. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you later, and I'll see you on the next one. I got a video coming out tomorrow at 7 in the morning. I was cleaning this site up. Tons of stumps, tons of stuff. You know, he had this big mound. I cleaned it all up. I'm going to do a second video on that probably if I can. It'll be a quickie with the drone showing an after shot or something. Maybe I'll throw that into one of the other videos. But I didn't really have time to get like a complete after, you know. So I'll try and get one of those in there in one of the upcoming videos. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys on the next one, and enjoy your weekend.